love driving through East Nashville. One day you drive through and you won't even glance at a house. The next day it's torn down, there's a new one, or it's remodeled, and it looks fantastic. I love curb appeal. Well, my next guest is not only an artist but also an architect, and she has combined her love of both into one-of-a-kind pieces. And you know what? She's got some great advice for us. She is also a teacher as well. Oh my goodness, Alison Poland.
Hi.
It's so glad to have you on the show.
Well, thank you for having me.
Well, you have combined these two loves. Tell me how this happened, that you brought this together.
Through time, really, I went to architecture school, and I have a business degree and architecture degree, and so I always was trying to combine, of course, that love, but I've always done art throughout my whole life, so to combine architecture and art just seemed natural.
And you've also taught. Tell me about that.
Sure. I had the opportunity to teach at the Corcoran Gallery of Art and Design in Washington, D.C. For the interior designers who were trying to get their undergrads there. And I did a 5-hour lecture on different ways to present your work, draw, work with a client, and it was very rewarding to learn from them as well.
Well, and we've got some of your art here in the, right here on the set, but we've also we're going to show some of the pieces that these have already sold, but you've actually, your art has been seen at the Smithsonian, at the Corps of Engineers.
Yes.
I mean, you really have been all over.
Yes, and really, I'm just thankful for those opportunities. You know, when you work in architecture, and I did have the opportunity to work as an intern architect, and I got exposure to, of course, the Corps of Engineers that way, and got to do some drawings for them that way, and the Smithsonian. I got to travel to Italy and do some stuff for them there. Just the opportunities.
You've been exposed to a lot, and which that has impacted your art, and we're going to show some of your pieces. In fact, let's take a look at a few of the pieces. Now, you've got different categories of art, and this, I think, is your abstract?
Yes. That is the famous Guggenheim Museum in New York, and basically what I like to do is take my architecture knowledge and play with it, play with color, play with form, and this is me, you know, if you imagine standing at the bottom of that building looking up and just twisting it even more.
I love that.
To a point that it does become abstract, and you could see that.
That's fantastic. Now, this is so colorful. How big is this, by the way?
That's 30 by 40 inches, unframed. Basically, this is dear to my heart because I actually did this piece to honor ovarian cancer victims, and so all the proceeds for that went to this. But basically, I tried to make an angular structural element out of nature. So I took a rose and basically put angles in it.
Now, are the pieces that we're seeing today, are these for sale, or they have already sold?
The ones we've looked at so far have sold, but I have a lot more.
Okay.
So,
well, you have a fantastic website, we should say, too. We'll be giving that information out as you're on air as well. Now, tell me about this piece. Okay,
so this looks very intimate, but basically it is me. It was inspired by a photograph of structure, believe it or not, zeroing in on the connection of a structure, and you can see it's not connected. So I was playing with the fact that, you know, in a joint that should be connected, it's not. So it becomes even abstract as we look at it here, but that was what it was inspired from.
That's just amazing. And I love the color, too. One of the things that you say, too, is you said that there's 45 principles that you should consider with high-quality art. Tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. Now, this is a collection from across my studies as an architect, artist, and those who have mentored me. There are 45 basic ideas to make great design, no matter what medium. And if you look at it, that seems a little overwhelming, but you can divide it into 3 categories of composition, line, or color. And of course, my favorite category is color. So I play with that a lot, and I've studied that a lot.
You know, when you told me this and we were getting ready for the show, I was looking at my wallpaper, and I chose, there were really 7, because you said there are 7 colors, and repeat those, and then 3 shades. And I literally was counting the colors, and I was like, that's why I love this wallpaper, because there's 7 colors and there's 3 shades. And you said that that's a great way to start, right?
Yes, and to be honest, it's kind of the marketing side of things, you know, that I've learned, what captures people's attention, and it's if you remember that Brewster color wheel that we all learned in elementary school, it's those 6 colors combined with black really do, and if you play with those and add white or black, that's the magic.
That's the magic. Okay, yeah. And we've got some more images as well that we want to show of your artwork, because you do so many different types of, you've got the abstract, we've got the people. Now tell me about this one.
Oh my goodness. So you'll see when I was trying to find out, as every artist does, what their topic of passion will be, I started, I had a little phase where I did people, and here, the black and white one, it was really, I called it Jaywalker because I was in the city street, inspired by the people being right up against each other, and that's the image that came to me. And then the one on the other side is watercolor, and that is just the face of a person within that crowded scene too. What I've, you know, I would say this was sort of the first tier of art that came from me, and then from there and all the positive feedback I got from it, I really started to focus on structure. So you will see a variation because, like most artists, you figure out what your niche is and you grow into it.
And then you keep growing. Yeah, that's beautiful. Now this is just several pieces put together, or it's a
process? Yeah,
it's a process. Okay.
Yes, every piece there was just a sketch I did to prepare for some of the final pieces, and you can see the Guggenheim pieces of the Guggenheim there, and
these are all influenced too by the places that you've been. And speaking of places, this is a cool place right here.
So I came here 6 years ago, and needless to say, Nashville has really inspired me. And I am a sports fan, so you know, some of the first things I did was go to the Titans game, go to the Predators game, and so out of that came the 2 pieces that you're looking at.
And these are sold, or they're still available?
Actually, there's still one sold to a collector, and the other one's still available.
Okay, well, and here's some other places, famous places.
So I, again, combining sports and architecture. It's fun to go to a game and learn more about architecture. Actually, the one that you're looking at, the Dulfer Cell, I'm sorry, Sulphur Dell Stadium, that's right here in Nashville, was mimicked after or inspired by a photo that's been around now in a lot of publications.
And one thing that I want to talk to you is, you talk about the type of light that you use to illuminate really makes a difference. I mean, should we be concerned at all about the light changing our art?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Just the ABCs of lighting. If you do a art that's dominantly blue, you want to stay away from incandescents that are orange or have more yellow hue. Okay. You want to make sure that you match your art color with the daylight or with the light.
That's fantastic. Now, I like these tricks that you had given me, and I think it's fantastic. Now, I love that you said use a black frame, but what about this, when you said to distinguish your art, there were a few things that you said about not erasing. Are you kidding?
Yes. There are no mistakes.
Really?
There are no mistakes, yes.
And so you just...
Yes, the goal is don't even bring an eraser to the table. You just keep drawing and layering, and that's what charcoal's good for. And then, when in doubt, add a tree, or a person, or a car, or someone to cover that.
When in doubt, add a tree. Now, see, I think I can do that. Now, you've done people, places, and things. I want to show a few more of the images. We also have some. Let's actually show. Yeah, this one was very famous, and you sold this downtown. Everybody knows downtown Nashville, which is becoming so popular, by the way.
Yes. Well, yes, you can't live here and not do a piece that celebrates our downtown, and this was actually inspired and brought to me as a challenge. As someone said, I want this, and I want to document the signs, how they are, but you can play with everything else. So that's what I did. And I thought the best way to do this was to put it all in one piece together, so you could see all the signs together, but see how the architecture plays with each other. So this piece has been very popular, and actually, if I may, it's
please show this piece too, because
it's a replica of it.
Other people can own this piece as well. Now, is this is a metal?
Yes, and through my website. You can order it on canvas, but what I liked about the metal was it does have like a unique kind of, if you're looking for just something like a sign, but you know, something that's very natural.
I think this is perfect for a guest room, because in a guest room, when you have people coming in from out of town, they're celebrating Nashville. They're so excited.
Yes.
And to have something a local artist did, something that celebrates the images that you see around town. Now, I will have to say too, now I don't know if this is on your iPhone covers or not, but
yes,
it is.
Yes, you can get this in a bag, iPhone cover, pillow.
Because I noticed on your website, that's what's so great about your website, is that we can actually order other products with these images as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
I want you to enjoy them.
I love that. Okay, and we've got some more images to see as well.
Okay.
And I know that you did some buildings that were here local.
Yes, of course, the Capitol building. As you can see, I played with the promenade. So the promenade, the entrance to the building, you have this grand stairs. So that's exactly what I did. I spliced in a shape to exemplify the promenade that you experience on the way there. And this is actually two separate pieces. Again, Capitol inspired, and there's a little trick in my pieces, because the architect in me wants to measure everything. You will see abstract rectangles or splice of shapes to indicate if it's abstract or not. So that one where you see the statue and there's a gray bar behind it, I did that because I messed with the composition a little bit.
Oh, and I bet that's hard for you a little bit. I mean, when you first started, you probably thought, oh, wow. And then this one is, to me, it was like this jumped out and was so different from the others.
So, big concept of sustainability, your building footprint. So I did a series on that. I tend to do about 5 pieces at a time so that it shares the same color palette. And so this is my whole carbon footprint series, where it really focuses on, okay, let's look through downtown architecture in a gas bubble and see the beautiful colors. And so this is, I had fun. This was just playing with color.
This is Alison living in a glass bubble.
Yes,
I love that.
there you go.
Oh, and these are rooftops. You have a whole series of rooftops. And I think, don't you think rooftops just really define a state or a state of being? I mean, it's amazing.
Yes, and especially when things are changing so fast, and we have a lot of new construction coming in, especially in this area. It's just nice to capture what was there before.
And we've got a couple of pieces here. I want to see the guitars that we have. And tell me about this piece. This really looks great on the set too, by the way.
Well, thank you. It might have new open. Well, you can't, again, live here without doing a piece on a guitar. And for me, I couldn't just do the guitars, so I had to wrap the whole city landscape into it. And if you look carefully, you can see the Batman building and several other iconic buildings.
Wow, you've done such a great job. And Alison, thank you for presenting this and giving us some great ideas and tips as well.
Great.
We'll be following up. You and I will be making a toast here in just a little bit. And if you notice these amazing flowers, Alex always delivers. And none of us, if any of you are watching, please email me or on Facebook, tell me what flower this is, because none of us here knew. And I know flowers pretty well. You can get in touch with Alex and have individual flowers sent to you at 615-736-5200. And coming up, listen, on Designer Citation, this lower level basement was just nothing but leftovers, but we transformed it. Take a look.